What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, J&O, and welcome to my team for game week 38. We're at the end of the season. These are my transfer thoughts where I go over the moves I might make going into game week 38 to hopefully maximise my rank for the end of the Fantasy Premier League season. So in the comments down below, let's have a conversation about how our season has gone. Just tell me how you started, how you've done going from that start to this point, and let's get on with the video. So before I start the video, I just want to say that so far, I am on a grand total of 24 points for game week 37, which is pretty disappointing. I did manage to get Son out, so that's a good thing. The Son hasn't set, but unfortunately the players I do have, the team I do have, haven't performed that well. I do have Triple City coming up tonight. This video hopefully will go up just before that game. I need my captain to turn things around for me. If he does, it might be an okay game week. Otherwise, we're looking at a pretty bad one and potentially a finish which isn't quite what I was hoping for. But anyway, we move on, we move forward, and we try and make the best of game week 38. And the fires we need to put out are the fact that I've still got Roberto Firmino in my side. Having had his cameo in the Champions League against Barcelona, I thought he might be available for the game against Newcastle, and lo and behold, he didn't feature at all. So the question is, do I replace him again? We do have the 9.3 million-ish that Firmino does cost. With some money in the bank as well, we could potentially try and get a differential striker into our side for game week 38. But of course, we want to bring in the best person possible for game week 38. And game week 38 historically is a game week with a lot of goals in it. So ideally, we want to try and find that differential, which is going to have a big haul in game week 38 and bring that player in. But as always, we start off with the fixtures, and we've only got one fixture left to look at for each side. And to be honest, there are some tasty looking fixtures in this one, especially for a one game week punt. We of course have Man City versus Brighton. I think if you haven't got double or triple Man City, then you've been playing the game wrong personally. And the same goes for Liverpool versus Wolves. You probably have a lot of players in that fixture. What I'm hoping for the Liverpool and Wolves game is Liverpool, of course, go out and attack, trying to win the game, whereas Wolves are best when they counter-attack sides, and hopefully Liverpool will give them that option to counter-attack, and hopefully we have a high-scoring game. We've also got Man United versus Cardiff, but after their performance against Huddersfield, are we really looking to bring in Man United options? Chelsea have just had a great performance against Watford, winning 3-0. Will they repeat that against an informed Leicester side that, as at the time of recording this, haven't played Man City yet, so potentially Leicester could still have some differentials for you there. Newcastle, who have also looked in decent form, come up against Fulham. And then Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth, who knows what's going to happen in that one. Arsenal versus Burnley, Arsenal away. Arsenal seem to be disappointing away quite often. And then Spurs versus Everton, another fixture. Everton in form. Spurs have been very disappointing recently, and they might be coming off of a Champions League hangover if they get knocked out by Ajax. So plenty of games there that could benefit us in the Fantasy Premier League final game week of the season. But let's have a look at my side before we get into more detailed thoughts about the transfer I might make. So my side, as it lines up right now for game week 38, has Ben Foster in goal against West Ham instead of Hugo Lloris against Everton. Now that could potentially change. I'm a bit up in the air about which goalkeeper to pick for this one. Watford aren't very good at keeping clean sheets, but potentially a big differential for me could be to double up on Watford defence and have my fingers crossed that West Ham decide they've had their upsets for the season after beating Tottenham. Hugo Lloris against Everton. Everton have been playing very well recently. Do I expect Everton not to score? Probably not, which is why at the moment I guess I'm pinning my hopes on Ben Foster. But West Ham have of course beaten Spurs and Southampton recently, so who knows what West Ham are going to turn up. Then we've got Valery against Huddersfield at home. Quite happy with having him in the side. Hopefully Huddersfield decide not to score in the final game week of the season. It is away as well, which means it isn't at the Huddersfield Stadium. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Southampton can keep a clean sheet there. We've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not going anywhere. Getting 2 assists in the game against Newcastle. He's got Wolves at home. Do I expect a clean sheet? No. But he can return points even when Liverpool don't get clean sheets. And then Laporte against Brighton Hove Albion away is also in there, hoping for another clean sheet off of him. Then in midfield, I'm disappointed with myself for bringing in Milivojevic instead of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. As you know, Ruben Loftus-Cheek scored in the game against Watford for Chelsea. Milivojevic, in a Crystal Palace side that did score 3 goals, got no returns, which was very disappointing. But they have Bournemouth at home for the final fixture of the season. I'd probably prefer it if it was away for Crystal Palace because their form has been better away. But we have Milivojevic in there. We have Mane against Wolves at home. We have Sterling against Brighton away. Jota against Liverpool away. But hopefully their counter-attacking style can benefit them in this one. And then Deulofeu at home as well with Jimenez and Aguero up top. Aguero potentially being the captain, maybe even Sterling for that one. Then on the bench we have Kiko Firmino, Roberto Firmino and Lewis Dunk. Dunk hasn't featured in my side since after the double game weeks. It's funny because I look at this side and I do worry that it isn't the strongest side. However, we do have a triple up on Man City and we would have a triple up on Liverpool if Firmino plays. So I'll be waiting to see if he features in the final game week of the season. Potentially they won't even bother to even risk it, which means Firmino would be the sensible option to transfer out. We'll wait to see what Klopp says in his press conference. So we look at the Firmino injury, and I'm not even going to compare Firmino's stats. I'm just looking at the 3 players that I might take a punt on for my Game Week 38 side. Now, potentially we could go to Lacazette if I thought Lacazette was going to do something for Arsenal away. We could potentially even look at Higuain. He did score against Watford. Could he do it again in Game Week 38? However, we've been looking at some cheaper options, which if I wanted to then take a -4 on a big player, I could potentially do. If I've downgraded Firmino, I'd have plenty of money in the bank to make a big move. And we've got Shane Long, Ayoze Perez and Callum Wilson as the strikers I'm looking at. Now, Callum Wilson has only returned 2 in the last 6, but in those 2 games he returned, he got 39 points in total. That matches the returns of Ayoze Perez, who got 3 returns out of 6, who has more modest returns but just returns more frequently. And then Shane Long is on 27 points, having 3 returns from 6. However, despite having more returns out of 6 than Callum Wilson, has scored less points. Goals, Ayoze Perez stands head and shoulders above the rest with 5 compared to Shane Long's 4 and Callum Wilson's 3. However, assists, Callum Wilson stands head and shoulders above the rest with 3 when both Perez and Long have none. As far as penalty area touches, Callum Wilson looks the biggest threat with 41 compared to 33 for Perez and 21 for Shane Long. And Callum Wilson also stands head and shoulders above the rest with his shots and attempts from inside the box, with shots on target also being better, but only by 1 compared to Ayoze Perez, which shows that Ayoze Perez and Shane Long potentially more clinical than Callum Wilson. Big chances, Shane Long and Wilson have both had 8 apiece, however Shane Long has scored more of his big chances. Perez actually hasn't had that many big chances in comparison, having a quarter of the amount with 2 big chances, scoring 1 of them. And then chances created 3 apiece for Perez and Long, but Wilson gets 4, also with more big chances created than Shane Long and Perez with 2. Expected goals is a lot higher for Callum Wilson as well, and potentially Callum Wilson could be one of those players that gets a big haul in the final game week of the season. Patience has been a massive part of having Callum Wilson this season, but he might be worth 1 final punt in game week 38. Right now I'm probably leaning towards Callum Wilson because I feel like his return could be big against Palace. It is away for Bournemouth, but you never know what Bournemouth side may turn up. Then it's probably looking at Ayoze Perez because he has looked in form as well, having got the most bonus points out of any of these players. Shane Long potentially was the pick for me if I was bringing in Salah last week. Now with Salah's head injury, potentially I managed to dodge a bullet there. However, with Southampton's final game of the season being against Huddersfield, maybe I'll change my mind on that one. And then last day punts as well, we look at some other options I could consider. Thinking about that Huddersfield game, we could bring in Nathan Redmond at 5.4 million. He's got 27 points from the last 6 games he's played in, 2 returns from 6, with 2 goals and 1 assist. However, 30 penalty area touches, 20 attempts on goal, 13 from inside the box, 7 on target with 4 big chances, scoring 2 of them, with 6 chances created, 2 of them being big chances, and expected goal involvement of 4.02. He could be someone I look at. 4.02 for a midfielder at 5.4 million is a great price. Now Rondon also, along with Ayoze Perez, has looked in great form. 5.9 million, 27 points, 3 returns from the last 6, 1 goal, 3 assists. I like a few more goals in there, Rondon, but you have been playing really well. 24 penalty area touches, 19 attempts on goal, 10 from inside the box, 5 on target. No big chances with no big chances scored, which is disappointing to see, but 9 chances created and expected goal involvement of 2.32. And then a punt for me would be if we went with Palace. It is at home for Palace, which again, like I've said before, isn't ideal. But Palace do seem to start scoring a lot of goals at the end of the season. He's got 24 points, 3 returns from 6, 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 bonus point, 34 penalty area touches, 8 attempts on goal, 6 from inside the box, 4 on target. Has had 1 big chance which he did score and created 9 chances. His expected goal involvement is the lowest at 1.40. But who knows what could happen with Palace against Bournemouth in the final day of the season. So guys, that is it for this episode of my team for Game Week 38 Transfer Thoughts. It is probably a little bit earlier than usual, but of course we do have the Football Blogging Awards on Thursday. So first of all, thank you so much for getting me to be a finalist in the awards. That is much appreciated. We'll hopefully get my team for Game Week 38 points and performance done on Tuesday, and then hopefully we will get a vlog for you guys some point before Game Week 38, and then we will wrap up the season with a review of the season, as well as me doing plenty of other stuff on other channels, including the FPL Wildcats. But in case this is the last time you catch me for this season, thank you guys so much for the support this season. We have seen some great growth, so thank you guys so much. If you are new to the channel and you want to join the flock, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and hit the like button if you have enjoyed this video. Make sure to put those comments in the comments down below. I'll try and reply to as many of them as possible. Check out the various links in the description as well if you want to support the channel in any way, and I promise you guys, next season is going to be just as good, if not better. I have a lot planned for you guys. Anyway, with all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.